There are two ways of making a film with AI at the moment, and manual prompting is the familiar one. One shot at a time, every instruction written by you. The other is agentic, where the directing remains entirely yours and an agent carries what sits below it, the references, the phrasing, the checking. I have made real work both ways, and the difference is not which produces a lovelier frame. It is what each asks of you between the frames. Manual prompting always begins in the same place. The shot is already whole in your head. You know its light, you know where she is standing, you know what it has to make somebody feel. And then you have to carry all of that into a machine that holds none of it. So what does one shot really ask of you? Most people are not even writing the words themselves. You open a chat model, describe the shot the way you would describe it to a friend, ask for a version the video model will accept, and paste it across, which is worth pausing on because it is a peculiar thing to be doing. You are asking one AI to explain your idea to another AI because the second cannot receive an idea in the shape you actually hold it. Then the attaching, the character sheet, the location, the light described once more since nothing kept it from an hour ago, and phrased however that particular model prefers to be spoken to, because Seedream does not take a note the way Nano Banana does. Each has its own habits, shared around in threads like recipes, which is how you quietly stop being a director and start being a prompt engineer on your own film. And when a version arrives, half of what you learned is gone. Sometimes it returns exactly right. Sometimes the jacket is wrong, and correcting the jacket turns her the other way. That is simply how generation behaves, and it is not a complaint about the models. The cost is what a retry takes, because every attempt brings the entire routine back with it. And has a scene appeared? Not yet. Whatever comes next must agree with this, so you are carrying the exported frame in your head, along with which sheet is current and which take held the light you wanted. Characters get tagged so a face comes back. Locations get tagged so a room stays put. 19 further setups are waiting in this scene alone. So what does the day turn into? Naming files, tracking versions, tagging, reattaching the same folder of references. Again, you came to make something, and you are keeping records. That was never the model's failing. The generating works. The feeling in the work is still yours. What is broken is everything standing around it. Video Agent is what solved this for me. A couple of months of working this way, and the change is not that it generates faster. The record keeping went, which means I ask for what I want in my own words, the way I would say it aloud to somebody. Let me set both ways out. Round one is the manual way, and notice it does not begin where you would expect. It begins in a chat window. You describe the shot the way you would say it to somebody, ask for words the video model will accept, and carry those words back. Then bring the sheet in, bring the location in, settle on a model, shape the wording to please it, run it, sit and look at what returned, pull the closing frame so the following shot has somewhere to start from, then begin again entirely for the next one. Not one item on that list happens without you. Round two, inside invideo agent, and notice that it does not begin at a shot. It begins at the film. The script goes in, the treatment, the director's Bible, and if all you are holding is an idea, that goes into. All of it saves into context the project's persistent memory. From there, the agent knows the film something like the way you know it, and that is the real shift. It stops being an instrument you operate and becomes a collaborator that has read the material. Casting comes next, and nobody writes a prompt for a person. You talk about him the way you would in a casting room, in the language you actually use. Video Agent returns some possibilities. You say what is not right, you narrow it, and the sheet is locked. That sheet is not then parked on a desktop waiting its turn. It lives inside context. So a scene that needs him costs you a single word, which is his name. Video Agent carries him in on its own because he is part of the film rather than part of your storage. Locations do the same once locked, which leaves nothing to assemble again for the following scene. Uploading twice is not made faster. It ends. No, nothing needs training to hold a face. Sheets locked into context do what people are running training for, and a change is one revised base image rather than a retrain. Do you still write model syntax? No. You direct in production language, and InVideo Agent writes each model's technical instruction underneath. And must you test every model to find the right one? Also, no. It chooses per shot from its roster according to what the shot needs, and where you know better, you name your model and it stays there. Choosing is the default. The override is always yours. And is prompting one skill you learn once? That is the assumption, and it is wrong. And microdrama shows why most clearly.
She's your wife, Dad. She was your wife for 20 years. Whatever happened between you, she doesn't deserve to die because...
She's his ex-wife, Ivy. And this family already has rather a lot on its plate without underwriting someone else's medical bills.
Continuity is what ruins a microdrama, and not through faces. Through geography, the light warms and cools between two lines of the same conversation. The eye lines cross, and the scene refuses to cut, however beautiful each frame is on its own. Solving that by hand is not a matter of writing something better. There is a technique. You open the scene on a wide that fixes the space, hold that wide as the anchor, and build every setup at that location against it rather than off the shot before. There is a whole video on that if continuity is where your work keeps coming apart. Now think about what that means working manually. One technique, one format, which you must know exists before you can use it, then apply correctly on every generation for an entire season. InVideo Agent already works that way, so you are not learning the technique and then policing yourself with it. And microdrama is only one kind of work. Creator advertising asks for the reverse of all that. An unsteady hand, a phone in the shot, the product near enough to feel genuine, something to hold somebody before a second has passed. A dramatic scene wants coverage, lens decisions, staging that survives the cut, 3 grammars that do not translate, and InVideo Agent holds each, which is the argument beneath the whole video. There are 2 bodies of knowledge that make manual prompting hard: how films are actually made, the grammar and the technique that lets shots cut together, and how each of these models answers the phrasing each one expects. InVideo Agent is built on both, and that is exactly why neither is yours to carry. You bring the idea and the judgment. It brings the craft knowledge and the model knowledge and applies them on every generation without being asked. And who is left looking at all of it? By hand, one person, permanently, across everything produced. In the second round, each generation is held against what you loaded before you see it, and anything failing goes back. Not because InVideo Agent has a better eye than yours, because sitting with 400 files was never the work anybody wanted. So what did each way ask of me? Round 1, every attachment, every instruction, every exported frame, every check, all mine. Round 2, inside InVideo Agent, the directions I gave and the approvals. A count rather than a claim. And one shot on its own with nothing behind it? Everyone assumes that is where the manual way finally wins. It is not. Say the thing plainly, and InVideo Agent finds a better instruction for that model than you were reaching for. Without a project, you skip the setup. Nothing else is skipped. This is the part I would most like understood, because it is what everyone fears is being removed. Taste is not in there, nor is story sense, nor the decision about whether something is any good. Not one creative thing changed hands. Record keeping changed hands, and record keeping was never why any of us started. So if manual prompting one setup after another is still the way you make things, that is worth looking at again. A stack of references, uploading them endlessly, exporting frames to join one shot to the next, reviewing everything yourself, memorizing the phrasing each model likes and the grammar each format asks for. None of it was ever the making. What I make on now is InVideo Agent, invideo.io. The second round follows, made with InVideo Agent.
Trying. Come back home. Every time I've been,
this no man's land, where do I find sugar now?
Hey, who's that?